Hello. Got something a little bit different today. But first I want to say a massive thank you to Anne for my lovely cuff. How cool is that? Perfect for stopping my clinky bracelet. Something a bit different. So I wanted a vintage eye chart, and trying to get an original was impossible, and I couldn't find one that I liked. So I made one. So it actually was a little bit more effort than I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as easy as I thought, but I've tried to make it look fairly vintage, fairly rusty, bit grungy, but I do have the printable as a wall art piece in my Etsy shop, and it's available as an A3 print and an A4 print. I've printed mine at 95%, so they're not full size. And also there's 4 versions, so there's these 2 which are the same but A4 and A3, and then I've also done it without the rusty grunge, so there's options to print. Now this one is for my mother and this one is for my wall, so I'm going to work on this and show you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. Probably won't be able to show you too much of the A3 because I can't get a lot of that in shot. So the first thing I've done is I've printed it obviously and cut it out. Now it is for the wall, so I have printed onto heavyweight matte photo paper. It's Epson because my printer is Epson. This one is printed on a matte photo paper, but it is a Jessop's paper because I didn't buy the A3 in the Epson, but you can see it is a photo paper, so it is really, really clear and a nice print. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to glue this down before I ink, because I want to grunge it up a little bit more. I'm not sure if my mum wants it a little bit more grungy, but that's what she's going to get. Don't want that big blob of glue. So I still haven't sorted out my Sugar Bell bottle. Does need a bit of a clean because of it was left for a little while, and I just thought it's easier to use this bottle, but it's actually quite painful on the old hands after using the Sugar Bell. So I'm going to give this a good I'm using Fabri-Tac. I did actually grab my bookbinding glue because I thought that would probably have done a fairly good job on this, but it's too late now. It's Fabri-Tac. I'm quite happy with this because I know Fabri-Tac is very permanent glue. It's not going to go anywhere. So just been doing a few different things really for gifts and stuff. So like I said, I don't know if other people have the same desire to have an eye chart at all, but if you do, there's now one available in my shop. So I'm going to just give that a really good burnish down. I am thinking this will make quite a nice journal cover as well if it's printed even smaller still. Something a bit different. Now I've mounted this. This is 2mm bookboard. The big one is only going to be on 1mm bookboard because I only have that left in the A3. So yeah, this is the A4. Okay, now I will, when I do the A3, I'm not going to obviously do that on camera. I am going to need to grab my huge ruler as well. So I'm just getting metal edge ruler and I'm going to use my rotary blade. You can just as easily use a craft knife if you're not using anything too thick. Oh, I haven't done it. Going to have to get my little glue out for this. If you're not using anything too thick, then you could probably cut it with scissors. You could also mount this on to wood. if you wanted a really heavy piece. You could also frame it. Again, if you reduce the size of the print, you would be able to use a mount in your frame if you wanted to frame it. Would look probably quite nice in a black frame as a gift. So I'm just going to line this up. And cut. And this edge. There we go. So it's quite sturdy on this 2mm book board. Okay, so I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to use Vintage Photo in my brush first of all, because I'm not quite sure. This is the first one I've done, so I'm not quite sure what kind of look it's going to give me and exactly what I want at the moment. So I'm going to, yeah, I think this kind of softer blend around the edges quite nice. Hope everybody's okay and doing well, and not letting all this craziness get to you too much. It's kind of a, I don't know, so I had a bit of a 1 step forward 2 steps back day kind of yesterday, and it feels like the whole world is in that situation at the moment, doesn't it? You just think things are getting better and then they get worse, but you know, this is a completely unknown situation that the world is in right now. So I hope it's, you know, I think we need to just be kind to each other, and just make the best of a bad situation, really. Okay, I just want to, I'm going to go a bit heavier in the old corners. Right, now this is ground espresso, and I am going to ink the edges of this, and I'm using a blending tool for this. I'm not using the brush. Now I'm assuming some of that's going to seep onto the front, which it is, but that's perfect. That's exactly the kind of look I want. I have about 15 videos planned at the moment, so this one was not really a plan. This was something I wanted, but I just thought I'm going to show you what I'm doing, because it just makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. Well, it does to me anyway. Probably doesn't to you. Maybe doesn't to you. I mean, there's nothing too difficult here. Okay. Oh, I love it. I do love it. It would be really cool actually mounted onto metal as well. If you had a piece of steel, maybe brushed steel, the right size, or even a piece of aluminium. I'll tell you what is good. If you use aluminium, which is what my dad actually picked up for me, was a back to a gas fire. If you're in the UK, the piece of aluminium that goes against the wall behind a backfire, a gas fire, that's just pretty awesome actually. Looks pretty grungy before you even do anything to it. So, a bit off topic there. Okay, now I'm going to have to stop filming because I am going to give this a coat of acrylic sealer. Okay, so I'm going to go off. It's actually not raining, but I am in my PJs. But I'm going to nip outside and give this a coat. And I will be back just to show you what I'm going to do to get this onto the wall. Okay, I will see you soon. It's now had just a couple of thin coats of that matte varnish that I showed. You can't see it. You can kind of feel that it's got a bit more of a rough texture actually. I really like it. It's just to give it a bit of protection. It doesn't need too much. It's going to go on the wall. So I've done the A3 one. I was going to do the A4 one in a slightly different way, but I can't because I've mounted it on the thicker board. I was going to use eyelets and a chain. However, this particular board and the eyelets I do have some other eyelets, but they're not deep enough. They're just literally flush with the back of the board, so they're no good. So I'm going to mount this one the same way that I mounted the other one. So what I need, and I've got this really pants hot center ruler. I don't have another one, so sorry about the grungy ruler. So what I'm going to do is just get this half the center. I want the center. Doesn't have to be spot on, but it's pretty accurate there. And I'm just going to use my pokey tool to make a little bit of a hole, just about 1/2 centimetre, maybe just over down. And I've got some of these picture hooks. I've already opened this one up because they're a real pain. And what I'm going to do is, if I can find my hole, I'm going to slot that in. And now I'm going to just poke in the centre of that as best I can. If you can see, that was obviously lined up. Now I'm going to take my crocodile and I'm going to use the small hole. This is nothing too technical, so this is why I like this method. I'm going to line that up as best I can and just punch a hole. Now there we go, we've got our hole. So I've got some pliers, and I'm not worried about this looking perfect. You know, it's supposed to be vintage and old, and you know, I would have loved some antique colour ones of these, but just don't have them. So brass it is. Line that up, take my pliers, and I'm just going to pinch in a couple of places to hold that where I want it. Like so. Then I've got my little split pins, and I want a straightforward brass one to match the picture. The D hook, I think these were called. Got them from Amazon. Just move that a bit. Let's get that back in place. Okay. I'm just doing this off camera for a second because I need to wiggle it back in place. I'm going to put my split pin in. Like I said, this is not technical. It's not a technical way of doing it. You know, you can, like I said, you could put these into a frame, all sorts of things. And then I'm just going to use a little piece of medical tape, just so that's not going to mark a wall when it hangs. So this is the non-technical way of putting a rivet in, which is really a split pin, but that will now hang, you know, wherever you want, wherever you like. And I like the fact that some of the glue stops the ink it stops it inking the picture, which is quite nice because it looks a bit more rusty and a bit more damaged. So that's the A3. I'll pop one on the wall and take a couple of photos, but you will have to excuse the nail because it's going to be a nail. It's not going to be a nice posh picture hook or anything. Sorry. I hope you found that useful, and I hope you like. This is marvellous on on the thicker board. What I really should have done is double mount this A3 one, but it's too late now because I'd have to cut it to size, and then the ink has obviously got some varnish on it and it's not going to re-ink very well if I ink one underneath. But it doesn't matter because, like I said, it's going on the wall. I'm sure these were fairly thin plates anyway, the original kind of proper ones. That's my little make for today. I've been waiting for something. I've been waiting for my 3/4 inch punch. Now, Amazon had a little bit of a boo-boo, and this literally arrived while I was waiting for the varnish to dry. But I do have something that I want to share with you using that. But you don't need that. You could use anything circle related. I'll just take a couple of pictures of this on the wall. Thanks again. I really love this. It's kind of like it makes me feel like a lady. I'm not a lady, but it makes me feel like a lady. So, and I do absolutely love this. I think it's really cool. What else was I going to say? Just a little tip. Now, I had to varnish outside today because I need to get a new vinyl tablecloth. Actually, I do have another vinyl tablecloth, but I use it for something else. So basically, when I spray varnish, my covers, anything that I do it in my bath. I know, it's a bit mad, but what I do is I have a vinyl tablecloth, a big one. It was pretty manky, and it actually stuck together because I hadn't varnished anything for a while, so it needed to be dumped. But I lay it inside my bath, completely fill the bath, and it goes slightly up the wall. And then I stand jam jars on, and I'll hang my book cover over, and I spray in my bath, so it kind of makes like a giant spray booth. And I know you can use boxes and all sorts of things, and it's probably a lot of faffing about for a lot of people, but I just wanted to share how I normally do it. I don't normally do it outside. It's just been a long time, and the vinyl tablecloth that I use was a no-go. It was a no-go. So that's why I did it outside today. But if you're using spray varnish, make sure you are in a very, very well ventilated area, like outside, or I shut my bathroom door and open the bathroom window so the cat can't get in. And that's where I do it. And then I leave it, and the smell can't get out. So, that's me babbling on. I'm now going to finish my coffee, take a couple of pictures. And thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.